Il G7 Meloni vuole condividere con la Casa Bianca i temi forti del summit, a partire dall'Africa.
This is my video update on this Sunday midday, March the 3rd. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with the first U.S. food airdrop in Gaza, which took place the other day. The U.S. carried out its first airdrop of humanitarian aid for Gaza, with more than 30,000 meals parachuted in by 3 military planes. The operation was coordinated with Jordan. So 30,000 meals for 2 million people displaced. 2 million displaced people in this area, trapped and facing starvation. 30,000 meals. This is from The Guardian. Melanie Ward, the chief executive of Medical Aid for Palestinians, said, quote, "Instead of dropping packages from the sky, some of which ended up in the sea or outside of Gaza, and which the most vulnerable cannot reach in any case, the US, the UK, and others should ensure that Israel immediately opens all crossings into Gaza for aid and aid workers to assist those in need. This includes the Karni and Erez crossings, which give direct access to the north of Gaza. Only safe and unfettered access for aid and aid workers, the lifting of the siege, and an immediate ceasefire can end starvation in Gaza." I can't put it any better. Instead of airdropping 30,000 meals, ceasefire. Ceasefire, open up the crossings, get food to these people. The Biden White House, they claim that they have a 6-week ceasefire in place, or they're trying to put together a 6-week ceasefire, a framework for a deal that would establish a 6-week ceasefire in Gaza is in place with Israel's agreement and is now dependent on Hamas, according to Reuters, citing a U.S. administration official. The hostages have to be released, the official told reporters on a conference call. The deal is basically there, but I don't want to create expectations one way or the other. Reports of the potential deal come as Israeli forces have killed more than 30,000 Palestinians since the 7th of October, while leaving approximately 2 million survivors forcibly displaced across the Gaza Strip. Speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. This Biden White House. This Biden White House, man. Ah, boy. Let's go this way and turn into the university. They have the power. The Biden White House has the power to stop all of this. But they don't exercise that power, and instead they're airdropping food. And they're talking now about another ceasefire, which who knows if it'll happen. How many ceasefires have we had actually put in place? I believe one. I believe they've actually managed one ceasefire, and they've vetoed every single Security Council resolution, the Biden White House, the United States. Resolutions that even France has approved. All right, let's change topics. Let's change topics, and I've been here before. I have been here before. So let's talk about the 38 drones that were launched by the Ukraine military targeting Crimea. And according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, those 38 drones were all successfully taken down. I have not seen any reports that there were casualties or any reports about the damage that was done from these drones that were taken down or anything like that. So as I'm recording this video, I haven't seen any statements about if these drones managed to do something, but from what I understand, all 38 drones were successfully taken down by the Russian military. The other day, you also had a drone hit an apartment building in St. Petersburg. I believe there were 2 people that were injured, but yeah, the drones are being launched again by the Ukraine military. For what purpose? Not a military purpose. There's a lot of speculation as to the drone in St. Petersburg, where that was launched from. Obviously, it wasn't launched from Ukraine. So how did the drone reach St. Petersburg and land on an apartment building? A lot of speculation there as to how that attack was conducted or coordinated. But you know, this is all part of the shift in strategy from the Ukraine military, most likely at the behest of Nuland and Co. If I had to take a guess, I mean, Nuland was in Kiev. She said surprises await Putin in Russia, and then she gave that interview to the think tank CSIS. I reported on that interview of Nuland's in DC at this think tank, and she stated during this interview, nasty surprises await Russia, and asymmetric war. That's the plan. Asymmetric. That is how Nuland sees the conflict going forward. Not so much in order for Ukraine to win. It's not about Ukraine winning this conflict or any type of conflict. It's more about, according to Nuland, inflicting damage on Russia and more specifically on Putin in order to gain leverage on Putin. And when and if there is a negotiation, then Putin is so damaged from this insurgency, asymmetric war that he has to give in to the collective West's demands during negotiation. I mean, that's pretty much the plan that Nuland has put in place. Yeah, there was a Christmas tree here last time. Last time I recorded. No Christmas tree anymore. So let's see. Yeah, that's it. Nasty surprises. That's what Nuland was talking about, and I think that's the shift that we're going to see in the fighting in this conflict. So the Wall Street Journal, they put out an article with the title, "Document from 2022 reveals Putin's punishing terms for peace. Draft peace deal drawn up shortly after Russia's invasion shows Ukraine was confronted with becoming a neutered state." So a lot of people are talking about this draft deal that the Wall Street Journal managed to get their hands on. And the narrative is that this deal was really bad for Ukraine. It was a punishing deal that Putin put on the table for Ukraine. And, you know, Zelensky had no other choice than to turn this deal down, right? He listened to Boris Johnson and he decided this is not a good deal. I'm going to take Boris up on his offer of money and weapons, and we're going to continue to fight. That's pretty much the narrative that we're getting. But when you look at the deal, I need to go this way. I need to go this way. So how do I get in there? As you look at the deal, wasn't too bad. Actually, the deal was really, really good for Ukraine. No, the deal was great for Ukraine when you look at the details of it. And to be honest, we had the framework of the deal many, many months ago. So what the Wall Street Journal is revealing, what they're reporting is really nothing new. I think they're putting this story out there in order to cover for Boris Johnson, in order to provide cover for Zelensky, right? Because a lot of there is a lot of talk about how Zelensky, once upon a time, had good terms on the table, and if he had just taken those terms, Ukraine would be in a much more favorable position than what it faces right now. And so there's a lot of criticism being levied against Zelensky for not accepting the terms of that deal. And of course, Boris Johnson has come under a lot of criticism for what he did in 2022, in March of 2022. And so I think this article doesn't really say anything that new about the deal that took place, the negotiations that took place in Turkey, but it's trying to provide some cover for various people. But let's go through what the Wall Street Journal is revealing in this article. And remember, even Arestovich, he gave an interview like a couple of months ago, and even Arestovich, when he was reflecting on the negotiations that were taking place in Turkey, he said that what the Russians presented to Ukraine was super good. Even Arestovich was like, what they gave us, the concessions that they gave us, we would be jumping at that today. Even Arestovich admitted that Ukraine had a golden opportunity to take a great deal back in 2022. But basically what the Wall Street Journal is reporting is that this framework for a ceasefire said that Ukraine would stay militarily neutral and no foreign troops in Ukraine. Nothing wrong with that. Very, very sensible, if you ask me. Makes perfect sense. Ukraine neutral, no foreign troops. That would mean no Russian foreign troops, no U.S. foreign troops, no research facilities, no none of that stuff, right? No CIA bunker hideouts, nothing like that. Why not? Why not? Makes perfect sense. But as Ukraine is militarily neutral and no foreign troops, the framework actually allowed Ukraine to enter the European Union. What's wrong with that? That's a huge win for Ukraine, right? I mean, if you go by the 2014 Maidan revolution narrative, all of this is about Ukraine's right to enter the European Union, right? So, I mean, they get that in this deal that Wall Street Journal is talking about. Crimea is Russian. Yeah, I mean, nothing strange about that being presented in this deal. Ukraine accepts that Crimea is Russia. Makes perfect sense. The other territory, Donbass and any other territory, this deal, according to the Wall Street Journal, actually said that the other territory disputes would be discussed by Putin and Zelensky at a later time between the two leaders. What's wrong with that? That makes perfect sense as well. They can discuss. Actually, that's a win for Ukraine when you think about it. That's another concession that Russia was allegedly making in this deal that the Wall Street Journal is talking about, which is so bad for Ukraine, which was so punishing for Ukraine. This is Russia saying, okay, the territory that we have right now because of this conflict, and any other territory in dispute outside of Crimea, we can discuss that between the two leaders. Nothing wrong with that. That's a concession. on the part of Russia. And there was other stuff in the deal talking about limits of Ukraine military, how many troops can Ukraine have, how much hardware can Ukraine have, and okay, there were differences. Ukraine wanted 200, I think it was like 245,000 strong military, and Russia was saying 80,000. That could be worked out. That could also be something that they could find middle ground on. Ukraine said that they should have X amount of tanks, and Russia said, no, you can have this amount of tanks. That's stuff that's fairly easy to solve in negotiations. And 5 guarantee states of security, 5 countries would guarantee the security of Ukraine. And the countries that would guarantee the security of Ukraine, this neutral state with no foreign troops, that would be allowed to enter the European Union, the 5 countries that would guarantee its security were going to be the United States, collective West, the UK, collective West, France, collective West, Russia, BRICS, and China, BRICS. The global majority. Russia and China, the global majority. So you have 3 countries from the collective West guaranteeing the security of Ukraine in this deal, and 2 countries from the global majority guaranteeing the security of Ukraine in this deal. 3 against 2. That sounds like a concession from Russia, if you ask me. So I don't know what the Wall Street Journal is talking about when they put the title, Putin's Punishing Terms for Peace. If you ask me, here we go. If you ask me, these were great terms for Ukraine to accept. Huge success, huge concessions on the part of Russia. But we know the story. Boris, Zelensky, no deal, money, weapons, as long as it takes, we will keep the war going and we will defeat Russia. Anyway, what does Ukraine face now? Now what does Ukraine face? Well, here's an article from Bloomberg. Ukraine sees risk of Russia breaking through defenses by summer. Ukrainian officials are concerned that Russian advances could gain significant momentum by the summer unless their allies can increase the supply of ammunition, according to a person familiar with the analysis. A collapse by the summer unless they can get more ammunition. And how are they going to get more ammunition? Where are they going to get more ammunition? Czech Republic is talking about purchasing 800,000 rounds of ammo, finding 800,000 rounds of ammo. Where? Who? What? You know how expensive that ammunition is going to be? Man, if it even exists. And it still doesn't solve the problem, which is you can buy the ammunition, but you can't make it. That's the problem. So a collapse by the summer, according to Bloomberg, in this article. There's a lot of talk about Syrskyi cleaning up the military from Zelensky loyalists. He's been given a carte blanche by Zelensky to clean up whatever remnants of Zelensky exist in the military command. That's not good. You're in the middle of a war, of a conflict, and you're trying to purge the military of commanders that are loyal to the other guy. I think a lot of people, especially a lot of far-right people, are going to be very pissed off at Syrskyi and Zelensky. And Syrskyi was a pretty unpopular guy when he was given the command of the Ukraine military. Now he's going to start purging commanders. Not good. Not good at all. And this article also says that the NATO commander, Bauer, that he's concerned about the trouble that the Ukraine military finds itself in. And he's concerned about a Russian offensive, but he says, according to Bloomberg, the NATO commander Bauer says that Russia lacks tanks and it lacks manpower to launch a summer offensive because, according to Bauer, Russia has taken huge losses, like huge losses from Avdiivka, 7-1 losses from Avdiivka. And how does Bauer know this? Because according to Bloomberg, the Ukraine military told Bauer that Russia suffered such heavy, huge, catastrophic losses that it's going to be very difficult for Russia to go on the offensive in the summer. Because the Ukraine military told Bauer this, and so Bauer, he believes what the Ukraine military tells him. Even to this day, the NATO commander, or one of the NATO commanders, believes the propaganda, the nonsense that the Ukraine military provides them. And that's what he's going off of. The Ukraine military figures. Oh boy. So, yeah, that is the Bloomberg article. And the New York Times, they put out an article with the title, "Surprisingly Weak Ukrainian Defenses Help Russian Advance." It's the weak defenses now that are going to help Russia. Well, you know, Avdiivka was as fortified as you could possibly get. So anything after Avdiivka is going to be weak. Russia will be able to advance at a much faster pace after Avdiivka, if they want to. If they want to. We don't know if that's what Russia wants to do. We will see. So let's go this way. Let's now talk about another Bloomberg article, which is saying, oh, I forgot to mention, going back to the trouble that is facing Zelensky. We are getting reports that Dmitry Yarosh, the leader of the right sector, is calling for a regime change. That is definitely not good news for Zelensky. And he is saying that there could be a coup against Zelensky. The leader of the right sector, Dmitry Yarosh, calls to unite against the power of Zelensky and co. He calls them liquidators of Ukrainian people. The government understands perfectly well what it is doing. The current government is the liquidator of our statehood. Zelensky bears personal responsibility for this. He is the one who heads the country. Every day they make new messes. So if you guys know who Dmitry Yarosh is, then you know that this is very, very bad news for Zelensky. Very bad news when this guy is calling for a coup or calling for a regime change of Zelensky. Anyway, I almost forgot that bit of information. So let's now talk about another Bloomberg article, which is saying that Macron and Schultz, they are in a fight. They are fighting, man. In this corner, weighing 120 pounds, fighting out of Paris, France, little Napoleon Emmanuel Macron. And in this corner, weighing, 200 pounds, fighting out of Berlin, liver, sausage, Olaf the Pirate Schultz. Oh boy, Macron's broken relationship with Olaf Scholz is hurting Ukraine the most. A public disagreement between the leaders of France and Germany arrives at the worst possible time for Ukraine. arrives at the worst possible time for Ukraine. Now things are going to get worse. Bloomberg, things are going to get a lot worse for Project Ukraine and for the European Union. Should have taken that deal. Should have taken that deal in 2022. That was one really, really good deal that the Russians put on the table. Anyway, what does this article say? In Berlin, Macron is seen as a monarchical figure who is better at issuing grand visions than delivering. Close aides to Schultz acknowledged to Bloomberg that the two don't get along. On the other hand, Macron sees Schultz as a leader without courage and ambition who cannot think beyond the short term, a French official told Bloomberg. So basically, in Paris, they see Schultz as a liver sausage, and in Berlin, they see Macron as little Napoleon. That's basically what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. That's what Bloomberg is reporting. Oh boy, let's do a couple of clown worlds, and we can wrap this video up. And let's start things off with this Vogue article, Vogue magazine cover, which says Ukraine Today. There are various covers from Vogue, and the title is Ukraine Today, and it has very, very good-looking young people who are in the military, and I guess that's the narrative that Vogue wants to put out there. The good-looking youth of Ukraine now in the military to fight. Let's go around to fight Russia. This is a pretty sick, twisted article from Vogue. Cover, a sick, twisted cover from Vogue. Basically, they're celebrating. They're glamorizing. They're celebrating the annihilation of their youth. I don't know. It's just twisted, man. It's really, really twisted. This magazine. These magazine covers, because it's a lot of covers of just various young, good-looking Ukrainian youth in the military. Dead end. Dead end. Anyway, it was Vogue that did the cover of Zelensky and Zelenskaya. Remember that one? That was Vogue. The beautiful couple, the courageous, beautiful couple, Zelensky and Zelenskaya. Looking beautiful looking beautiful in the bunkers with the sandbags and stuff like that. That was Vogue. Oh boy! And finally, let's talk about Zelensky's movie that he has in the works, the Hollywood movie, with the title "The Price of Victory." No joke. I am not making this up. That is the working title of Zelensky's 115 million blockbuster movie that is in the works. The Price of Victory. What should we call this movie? What do you think, Podolyak? Maybe Price of Victory? Yeah, I like this title, Price of Victory. $61 billion. I think this good price for victory. Anyway, that's the working title of this film, The Price of Victory. This is coming from the New York News Daily, so I don't know how reliable this news source is, but okay. This is Clown World territory, so let's see what's going on here. The Ukrainian president's Hollywood venture behind the $115 million blockbuster. President Zelensky has set his sights on the silver screen with Paramount Pictures gearing up to commence filming on a grand biopic chronicling his life titled The Price of Victory. This ambitious project is slated to delve into the tumultuous journey of the Ukrainian leader with a staggering budget of $115 million allocated for its production. All right, it talks about the screenplay, Paramount Pictures, along with Zelensky's production company, Kvartal 95. And they're working on this movie. And according to this article, a possible director, oh wow, get this, steering the helm of this cinematic venture is James Mangold, an illustrious American director celebrated for his works such as Logan, Ford v Ferrari, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's a pretty big name to direct The Price of Victory. what a title. What a title that they thought up, huh? The Price of Victory, a movie about Zelensky. It's perfect. It's perfect. That is a perfect title. Perfect title. I got nothing. I got nothing to say. The Price of Victory, starring Volodymyr Zelensky. Kathy Bates as Victoria Nuland. Jennifer Lawrence as Annalena Baerbock. Oh, man. Uma Thurman as Ursula von der Crazy. Anthony Hopkins as Joseph Borrell. Oh, boy. Who else? Brad Pitt as Emmanuel Macron. George Clooney as Anthony Blinken. Sean Penn as the Putin. Danny DeVito as Olaf Scholz. Oh, boy. We knew they were going to make a movie. We all knew they were going to make a movie, so no surprise with this clown world, if this movie does actually make it to the screens, or if it goes directly to Netflix. We'll see. Anyway, that is the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop, 15% off all t-shirts. Take care.